I'm Dan Hernandez. I'd like to welcome you to this week's episode of Sport Fishing. Well, today we're back in beautiful Lake Ouidas, and standing next to me is Mike Rice from Shakespeare. How you doing, Mike?
Doing great, doing great.
Last week's episode, we were out here. We caught some nice fish. I got that nice big bass at the end of the day. It was great fishing. I'm hoping today will be just like that.
I'm looking forward to it. Ready to put some of that Fluger Shakespeare product to work.
How did you enjoy that yesterday?
It was awesome.
It was great.
It was awesome. That bass you wrapped up with, that was a sweet fish.
Now, Mike's part of the development team over at Shakespeare, so it's a great experience for him to be out here on the water, see how those rods really pull on fish and how the line performs.
Can't beat it. It's the only way to actually test the product, see what you built.
Yeah. So all of you at home that use that great Fluger gear, Shakespeare product, Cajun line, Mike's the guy who decided the stuff for the future. Him and his whole team work on the new products. So let's see what else we can develop for the people for next year.
I'm ready.
All right, man.
Let's go.
Well, stay tuned for this week's exciting episode of Sport Fishing.
Welcome to Sport Fishing with Dan Hernandez. This week's episode of Sport Fishing is brought to you by Cabela's, America's foremost outfitter. By Shakespeare, manufacturers of the Dan Hernandez signature fishing rods. By Game Saver, the best way to preserve your fish is with Game Saver. By Penn, America's leading reel manufacturer.
Continue to do here today. Mike and I are working these banks. We're going to be throwing worms, lizards, crankbaits, anything else we can try, right?
Yeah, we're throwing about anything. They tend to switch patterns throughout the day. Dan's throwing a deep diving crankbait right now, fat-free shad, and I'm throwing a big 10-inch yum worm, watermelon color. Seems to be the ticket down here. They say it's can't pick a bad color as long as it's watermelon. That's what the guides keep telling us.
So the weather's beautiful today down here.
Oh yeah, it's a lot calmer than yesterday.
You see all these rocks right off the bank? That's basically what we're fishing straight down here. The same rock pattern you see up on the banks is what's below us. So we see these bigger boulders. We want to bounce those baits right off those rocks. There you go. You got a little one going here. Little one.
First fish of the day, we'll take anything, right?
Yeah.
Get the ball rolling.
The hardest one's that first one. Just working a worm. Got that ugly braid, 30-pound test, 5/0 hook. Not a very big fish, but like Mike said, first fish of the day.
They've been acting a little sluggish this morning. It's good to see one eat.
Our guides got us fishing a little high spot right here. See these boulders right off the point. There's a bunch of other rocks working our way back toward us. And what we're doing is just using a Texas rig worm, sliding sinker there, and just try to make the worm look nice and flat. And cast him back in there. Got one of Mike's baits. There you go.
Good fish?
Not bad.
Oh yeah.
Nice fish. Boy, I got him hooked good this time. That X tool works really nice. Nice little fish. Little one. Oh, we're doing the same technique, just working different side of the bank.
Yep. It's coming back out of this little cove here.
So what's the difference between the X tool that I'm using, the metal one, and the one that you have?
Well, you have yours on you?
Yeah.
The X tool that you have is what we call our metal pliers.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's the metal pliers. So they have a full aluminum shaft running through this. You know, it's foam. It's some kind of, it's higher tech material than that, but I call it foam.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you know, they're a full metal body, and they have the stainless steel inserts here, which are great for grabbing a hook, you know, and de-hooking fish. And they also have the titanium nitride clippers up here.
No, those work good. I've been using those the whole trip.
Yeah, I mean they're really good on braid. As much braid as we've been using, it's been really necessary. And the pliers that I have, I'll set this rod down for a second. Pliers that I have are the new hybrids, and it's a glass-filled nylon shaft running through the foam inserts.
Oh, I
right
the
on cue.
father, you just got bit.
Good fish.
Oh.
Good fish.
Here, I'm going to let you use the X tool right there,
Yeah,
okay?
get them for you down here.
There you go.
That's a better fish.
Yeah.
Chunkier. Wants to get me all wet.
Now, both the metal and the hybrid both work good for taking the hooks out.
Oh yeah. This is the hybrid here. You can see it has the stainless steel jaws there.
Mm-hmm.
And it also has the cutters in there, so it's great on braid. And let's see if we can do this.
There you go.
That hook was in there. You put a good hook set
Yeah.
on him. It's a little better fish. A nice belly on it.
That's good.
Yeah. But oh, she was ready to go.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is you know, it's a lesser expensive model, but the cool thing about them is that they both float. So you know, if you do drop them overboard,
You can find them.
obviously, you know, it's a $100 pair of pliers.
Uh,
You don't want to lose a $100 pair of pliers. Nobody does. So
very good.
yep,
All right, man. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
good fish.
Well, we're going to take a little break from the action here and visit the tackle box. Give you a really good look at the rods and reels that we're using today, this type of fishing.
This week, the Tackle Box is brought to you by Cabela's, America's foremost outfitter. This week in Tackle Box, I want to talk to you a little bit about what we're doing down here at Lake Ouidas. Now, there's lots of ways to catch bass down here, and you saw in last week's episode, we caught a ton of fish using lizards and the soft plastics. Well, one of the other techniques that I like to use a lot down in Mexico or anywhere in bass fishing is crankbaits or stick baits. Now, if the fish are up on the surface, there's a different type of lure you can use, but what I find out a lot, especially this time of year that we're down in Mexico, the fish are holding a little bit deeper. Not right up on the surface, but kind of close sometimes. And when they're up like that, suspended, I like to use a bait like this. This is a stick bait. It's got rattles in it. It's a rattle and row. It's a nice bait to use when you're going to work a bait, throw it out there, let it sink a little bit, rip it back to you a little bit, let it stop, suspend, and then rip it back. The fish, when I'm normally using a lure like this, are anywhere from 5 feet, 6 feet deep, not too deep, and right up by the surface where I can get to them. I'm fishing a big long area, may not have a lot of rocks, maybe a long sandy area or a long just muddy kind of dirty area on the bottom. What I like to do is throw a bait like this. Now, there's a different models of them, and these particular lures are designed to swim a long way. They don't dive very deep, but they run a long flat area away. They both have rattles in them. They attract fish. They're good again. Shallow areas, not very deep, and you want to cover a big area. This works good. Now, if I want to go down deeper after the fish, then I'm going to start throwing things that have bills on them. This particular lure will go down about 8 feet, 10 feet. Works nice around rocks, and what you want to do is hit rocks, hit structure, let it hit it, and if it gets stuck, you just stop it and it'll float up a little bit and then keep winding it. You want to bounce these baits off the structure, and as it bounces and hits and moves around the structure, the fish come up and hit it. And then when you're fishing that deeper area, like I did last week, catching that nice fish over by the bridge, by the train, you want to go with the deeper beat. The bigger bill on it, this big bill on it, will make that lure dive really deep, get down that deep structure where those big bass live, and that's why they have these big bills on it. These are specifically designed to get down over 12, 15 feet of water. If you want to stay up shallower, you got to use a smaller bill. But if you got to reach them deep, you got to go with the big bill lure like this to get down there. Again, you can use the same outfits, go with the All-Star rod, and use 12, 15-pound test line when you're throwing big crankbaits. Have the Fluger Summit reel on here. And then when you're thinking about maybe a rod with a little bit more backbone, a little bit more flex on it toward the tip for casting, go with an Ugly Stick Light custom rod. This works good. Again, with another Fluger Summit reel on there. And this one has braided line on there. Works out good too. Sometimes a little bit harder for casting if you're not used to it. But if you hook a fish, it's really good. Especially lots of rocks, you're working those deep diving baits, hitting structure, you may want to use a Spectra line. Well, let's get back on the water and show you more exciting action right here on Sport Fishing.
There's a fish right here, right in this spot. I just feel him, he's right in there.
Getting really confident, aren't you?
Got a tree fish.
Getting really confident back there.
You should feel confident when you go fishing.
That's right.
Your fishing rod should be a sword. There he, oh, there he came back for it. I got him.
Well, I can't argue with you anymore.
I called that fish. Did I call that fish, Mike?
That's about the third one today.
I called that fish. He was right there. Not a monster fish, a nice little bass. And we were just having so much fun. And I'm so happy that Mike brought these baits with him. Just a little beat up. We're just fishing the structure. Listen,
I got it.
Well, Mike's on. There he goes. Mike's got one, same spot in there.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, lizard.
Lizard, huh?
Not a big fish. Pretty typical what we've been catching. I wonder what these spots are. There's some spots on the side of these fish.
Really? Yeah, I've noticed that. I almost think it might be some of these monster bass in here chasing them.
Chewing on them.
I've seen a few that could probably take them down.
Nice little bass. All right. Well, we're going to keep working this area in here. We're going to fish this shallow spot a little bit. Then we're going to go deep, fish the last hour of the day deep, see if we can get us that big bass that we came here for. One of the nicer ones.
Yep. Well, we got a lot going on in here right now. We got a line out, picking the backlash. We got Dan and I are both casting. The wind's blowing. Wind's blowing about 20, 25 mile an hour. Yeah. Actually, my crankbait was fouled up. I was just dragging it on top, and this little chunk crushed it. You got it real good.
Nice fish. There we go.
Not bad.
I just had a good feeling about that tree over there. Now, we're not getting the biggest fish today, but we're getting good numbers, lots of fish. And I just really having a good time out here. Mike and I are just picking away, and it's our first time fishing together. We did pretty good, having some fun.
Yep, I'm enjoying it.
Oh, we got a little bit time left to fish here. What we're going to do is, after I release this one, we're going to take a little break from the action here and visit the galley. And we're going to show you how to cook up some exciting fish.
This week, the galley is brought to you by Dan Hernandez Dipping Sauces and Fish Batters. Look for them in your local supermarkets. This week in the galley, we're down in San Diego. We're at the Bay Park Fish Company. And standing next to me is Mark Muller. He's one of the owners of this restaurant. And what does he have planned for us today, Mark?
Well, we're going to do our fish tacos. Well, we sell more fish tacos here than any other dish. Andres here is dipping them in an egg wash, which we have a dark rum in there, a little potato starch, actually potato starch, the dark rum, and then a panko breadcrumb, or like Japanese breadcrumb.
And then it goes right into
the fryer. You can see they're a nice golden brown. That panko breadcrumb. There you go, and Jorge will roll the tacos here.
What kind of fish do you guys use here?
Well, two main fish we use. Our staple fish is mahi-mahi.
Okay.
We also serve a bunch of halibut tacos throughout the year. So
that's what I've had here in the past with the halibut.
Right.
So he's adding cabbage to this.
Cabbage, the salsa fresca.
Uh-huh.
And then we have a house-made taco crema. It's basically a little Mexican cream with a citrus base in it.
Okay. Just wraps this all up.
Chiles? Okay.
Just put a chili there.
Okay, so you can see the finished product. Corn tortillas with the mahi-mahi in the middle, a little cabbage, cut cabbage, salsa fresca, a little bit of the white cream you can see there, a couple limes, you know, according to your taste, however you'd like it, the roasted salsa, and a fried chili.
Okay, that's just. And the other thing people should know about your restaurant is they can come down here for lunch, dinner, and you also have your own little fish market out front too, right?
Right. We have a retail case, so if you want to come in and grab some fish for dinner or barbecue, we offer, you know, most of the varieties. It's not a real huge case, but try to keep everything real nice and fresh.
Yeah. And I've eaten here several times in the past, and that's why I wanted you at home to see this place. It's a really nice local restaurant here in San Diego.
Definitely see a lot of guys in the fishing industry here, which is nice to have them as our customers.
That's delicious, and that's one of the differences about this restaurant. The people involved in this restaurant are fishermen. They're outdoors people. You see their pictures all over the restaurant. It's a fun place to come. Down in San Diego, it's a Bay Park Fish Company. And what exact area is this? I know it's not quite Mission Bay.
Well, I guess you'd say East Mission Bay, you know, between SeaWorld Drive and Claremont Drive, just on the other east side of Interstate 5.
We'll be running their phone number at the end of the show. Well, thanks again, Mark.
You bet.
Let's get back on the water and show you more exciting action right here on Sport Fishing.
There you go.
Got one.
I like it.
I got one. See? Oh! Oh, it's a $40 fish.
Good fish.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Barely hooked, barely hooked, barely. Yeah! Woo! All right.
Good job, guys.
Oh, yeah. That's a fish. That's why you come to Mexico.
Wow. Good fish.
That is a nice fish. It's a beautiful, beautiful bass.
Boy,
What do you
that's
think,
a pig
man?
there. That is a pig. Good fish.
Thanks a lot.
Man, that's awesome.
Woo!
This week's tip of the week is brought to you by Shakespeare, manufacturing the Dan Hernandez signature line of fishing rods.
Okay, this is a bass I just caught.
It's a
Go
beauty.
ahead and let her go. There we go. There you go. All right.
There's your rod. There's your rod.
Thanks.
Oh, that was awesome.
Well, Mike and I are going to do the tip of the week. And Mike, what would you tell the viewers about this week's tip?
Well, I guess the only thing we could say is ugly braid. You know, we fished it all day.
Yeah.
We fished it all week.
Right.
And the advantages that braid has over most monos is unbelievable. You know, it's sensitive, it's strong. We were fishing a lot of cover today.
Right.
It was really abrasion resistant, and we were able to horse a lot of fish out of the sticks. And you know, if you're coming to Mexico, ugly braid's a ticket.
What I really liked about it too, not only the strength, but because it doesn't stretch, it was so sensitive, you were able to feel every little bite.
You knew what was happening.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. That first fish I hooked yesterday on it, it almost pulled the rod out of my hand.
Right.
And Texas rig, this was just awesome. It's a great tip. If you're gonna have the ugly braid with you too, you gotta bring an X tool.
Yeah, don't forget your X tools. You're gonna be cutting a lot of knots, a lot of tag ends. Gotta have the X tools. They're perfect.
This is the ugly braid, what it looks like in your store.
Yep.
You can find it on the website too, but your local tackle store will have it. Pick up the ugly braid, pick up the X tool. You're all set for Baja.
That's right.
Coming down here. Thanks a lot,
Enjoyed it, man.
Lake Huides. I'd like to thank everybody. It's Trophy Bass Lodge down here at Lake Huides.
Absolutely.
Everybody was nice. We had a great time. For Mike and myself, I'm Dan Hernandez, hoping you enjoyed this week's episode of Sport Fishing, and I hope you join us again for next week for another exciting episode of Sport Fishing. Thanks, man.
Enjoyed it.